And now, here's the happy conservative warrior, Mike Gallagher.
I believe there's a go-to guy over the Benghazi scandal. Senator Lindsey Graham has been, sounding the clarion call for truth from day one. Of course, Senator Graham is a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee. He also logged 6.5 years of service as on active duty as an Air Force lawyer, and served his country in the U.S. Air Force Reserves. He's the only U.S. senator serving in the Guard or the Reserves. He has always dealt with this Benghazi issue in a very forthright way. Let's welcome on our guest line from the great state of South Carolina, Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator, great having you back on the program. How have you been, sir?
I've been doing great. Thanks for that lead-in. Yesterday was a phenomenal day for the truth. Trey Gowdy from South Carolina did a terrific job.
He sure did.
Javits, Isa. But these three witnesses, just to get to the heart of the matter, completely contradicted the story being told by the White House after Benghazi. They have contradicted the Pentagon narrative that nobody was told to stand down. They provided information that Hillary Clinton's right-hand person, Cheryl Mills, was trying to censor what the State Department was telling members of Congress who visited Libya after the attack. There's just so much that came out of this hearing, and we're going to keep pushing. Well,
and Senator, years ago you told me in your office that you didn't come to Washington to not get anything done, right. And I was very impressed by that, and it always stuck with me. I also wonder if you feel like I do sometimes that, the old lone voice in a wilderness crying out saying, wait a minute, is anybody paying attention to this? I mean,
a lot.
You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, the reaction to Benghazi from Democrats, I played earlier two Democrat congressmen's response. Elijah Cummings literally said, well, remember something, death is a part of life. That's the reaction to the death, the murder of these four Americans. Ooh. Another congressman out of Vermont said, listen, Ambassador Stevens knew the risk. These are the kinds of things they're saying, I think, in an effort to minimize what I believe is a scandal of Watergate-like proportions.
Well, let's get to the heart of the matter. Those who serve us in harm's way do so as volunteers on the State Department, CIA, and Department of Defense. I've never seen the bond that has existed between those in harm's way and their government broken more than Benghazi. Mm-hmm. People are furious in the military, in the State Department. And if you're going to put people out into the wilderness in places like Benghazi and Libya and do the bidding of the American people, they've got to believe, one, you won't lie about what happened to them, and two, you will help them when they need your help, and you will listen to them when they tell you something. All of those things have been destroyed from Benghazi. What's my goal is to let people know what happened, hold those accountable who let it become a death trap, who did not provide aid when they could, and who lied about what happened, and to make sure that the next group who finds themselves in harm's way believes the system responded. To my Democratic friends, you should want to know why the administration blamed a video and a riot that never existed as much as I do. You should want people to believe who serve our nation that they're going to be better protected the next time they're hit by Al Qaeda.
Why don't they? Why don't they, Senator Graham?
Because they're worried, I think, obsessively, and we do that at times. The reason I took on Abu Ghraib is not. Listen, I've been a military lawyer for 30 years. It wasn't a few bad MPs in that prison. The system got overwhelmed because we had Iraq wrong. It wasn't a few dead enders. We didn't have enough troops. And when I spoke truth to power to the Bush years, I was a patriot. At the end of the day, when I said that we don't have enough troops, no matter what you're being told, it's not working in Iraq, Abu Ghraib was system failure. Mm-hmm. Well, Benghazi is system failure before, during, and after. And it's tempting to rally around your partisan flag, but the people who are in harm's way, those in the military, those in the State Department, have had the morale hurt by this. Did you see the emotion coming out? These are professionals. Greg Hicks has been in the State Department for 22 years. He's the heart and soul of the State Department, a very nice fella who just loves his job. Could you see how it pained him to be there and the heartbreak of having his friend Chris Stevens abandoned.
That's right, exactly. And that heartbreak, I kept aching for him and listening to the pain in his voice and the tears. And I'm sorry, I had to put that against the backdrop of a press secretary the other day who said Benghazi was a long time ago.
Well, let me tell you, in the minds of who lived through it, it's yesterday. And those who are in harm's way, it's a defining moment.
Right.
My goal is to make sure that this administration pays a price for allowing it to become a death trap and misleading the American public, and that we correct the failures that led to Benghazi. And the only way you correct the failures is to understand the truth, and they have been shielding the American public from the truth 7 weeks before an election. This was politically inspired manipulation, trying to keep the storyline, bin Laden's dead, Al-Qaeda's on the run. Benghazi destroyed that storyline. Susan Rice, Secretary Clinton, and the President themselves were selling misleading information.
Senator Graham, you mentioned pay the price. If the facts are revealed and if it's confirmed that this is as we fear it is, that this administration and indeed the State Department deliberately lied to the world about what happened in Benghazi, what caused it, what precipitated, and all of that, what would that price be?
Well, I want the people who ignored the security request, repeated request to upgrade security, to be held accountable as if you were in the military. I want the people who are responsible for changing the narrative from a terrorist attack to a riot spawned by video to be identified and be held accountable in terms of their present job and future job opportunities. And when it comes to during the attack, I want to re-interview the senior leadership of our military, because we now have a special operator in the shadows on Fox News saying there was a C-130 available in Croatia. I was told the closest one was in Djibouti, Africa, and I want to go back at the Pentagon because Greg Hicks said that a lieutenant colonel, member of the military in Libya, was willing to go to Benghazi, was urging to go to Benghazi, and was told to stand down. That directly contradicts what I was told by the highest level of our military, and I want to get to the truth and hold people accountable. But the main thing is to show President Obama your foreign policy is failing. Libya is a case study in what happens when you lead from behind, outsourcing to a non-existent government, trying not to be Bush to a fault.
I know how busy you are. A final question before you have to leave us. Do you believe that in your gut that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton bears any culpability in what happened?
Well, certainly she deserved praise. The president deserved praise for bin Laden. That was a gutsy call. He deserves accountability when it comes to Benghazi. Here's what I can't get out of my mind. On September the 14th, 3 days after the attack, the bodies are coming back to America, to Andrews Air Force Base, I believe. Secretary Clinton tells Charles Woods, the father of Ty Woods, one of the former SEALs that was killed, we're going to get the guy who made this video.
4 days.
How could she have said that to a family member? It ruled out everything but the video. Either she was completely in the dark about what happened, or she was selling a narrative that was politically helpful to the president.
But Senator, is it conceivable that she could have been in the dark?
Well, one won't know until you have another discussion with her. I want her to come back to the Congress, and I want her to answer the question, did you know that Cheryl Mills called members of the State Department team in Libya, the Deputy Greg Hicks, to tell them to not answer any questions of Jason Chavez?
Right.
They sent a lawyer down to watch him. Did you know all that? Did you know that your State Department spokesman looked at the first edition of the talking points where they named al-Qaeda, al-Nusra, as being responsible for the attack, and that she said, we can't put that out. Congress will jump on us for not having adequate security.
Wow.
She needs to answer these questions, and the president needs to answer the question why he told the American public for 2 straight weeks we think this was caused by a hateful video.
Scary stuff. I'll tell you one thing, Senator Graham. President Obama bragged about transparency within his administration. If this story doesn't define a lack of transparency, I don't know what does. And yet your office and indeed you personally have always responded to our questions and our calls to come on and tell us where you are on some of these issues. And I hope you know how grateful we are for you.
Well, I am, and I requested the 5 security officers who were in charge of security at Benghazi 2 days ago from the State Department. I got a letter. We're not going to provide you their names.
Wow.
I am not going to put up with that. We want to know who the survivors are, and we want to talk to them.
We need you more than ever. Senator Graham, keep fighting the good
Mike.
fight. Thanks so much for joining us, sir. Appreciate your time very much. Senator Lindsey Graham taking a few minutes to join us here on the Mike Gallagher Show to bring us up to date on Benghazi, because let me tell you something. I don't care what your political affiliation is. If you don't, as Senator Graham said, you hear the heartbreak in these veteran State Department officials' voices over the loss of these 4 lives, and then you hear the way Democrats are trying to minimize Benghazi, you know something is big time wrong. Big time wrong.